Hello, citizens of YouTube. This is the Geeky Nerd here, and today we're going to be just having a generalized discussion and something I really hope you guys go out in the comments with, and I'll be kind of looking for your guys' insight as well as I have my own, right? But the topic is going to be enhanced bolt carriers, Gucci bolt carriers. Are they worth it over standard mil spec? Is there really a benefit? The short answer is there's a law of diminishing returns here. If you want a bolt carrier that works, get a standard mil spec, like Toolcraft or like a Microbest, and it'll serve you plenty fine for many of years. But if you want something that's a little bit slicker, a little bit nicer, just overall a little bit more, or if you are in a situation where your rifle is going to depend on your life or death potentially, God forbid, then pay the extra. You're worth it. But before I get too deep in the weeds here, I'd like to send a big thank you out to everyone who's liked, commented, and subscribed on the previous videos. I always appreciate it and always enjoy talking to you guys. But if you're new here to the channel, welcome. And if you enjoy this video, enjoy this type of content, please consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. Whew, with the PR out the way, let's get into it. So, on the left here, we have the Lantac Enhanced Bolt Carrier Group. This titanium nitride, their EBCG, top of the line, right around a little bit over, depending on where you get it from, about $300 bolt carrier. This one here is my standard mil-spec Toolcraft bolt carrier group. Came out of my Ruger AR 556, my first ever AR, right? That I've had for years, right? I just can't get rid of it, even though I have all the nice fancy stuff. It still holds a special place in my heart because it works and it runs. And I think that's the main point of this, right? Is that both of these will achieve the exact same function. This one you get for $99. This one you get for $300. Are you getting $200 ish more of value out of it? No. But if you have the income to be able to afford this, or you have the lightness of design and everything, then I would say definitely go for it. But again, it really depends to each person. Some people don't care about the bolt carrier; they just want it to work and run. Mil-spec is going to be perfectly fine. And some people would even argue, and myself included, that these ones will run better than these ones. Really depends on where you get them from, right? So there's so many people out there making these quote-unquote Gucci bolt carrier groups that aren't in the correct tolerance, aren't the correct spec. Some of them are nickel plated, but the nickeling adds 1/1000th of an inch to tolerances, which then could shear like your gas rings on the inside of a bolt carrier, or of your bolt head. Just like these little weird variations that everyone's trying to make a bolt carrier, so you really have to narrow it down to reputable brands, which is where some of that brand loyalty does come into play, right? So Lantac being up there with very top spec performers, you're safe to do so, right? And then something like Toolcraft or Microbest, again, a known brand in the community that does all the OEM parts, that's something that you can definitely rely on. But something that comes out of a small startup shop and the bolt carrier is like $69, nice, then you might want to think twice, unless you're building a Poor Meadows State Armory, and I say that jokingly, but I have plenty of Palmettos. If you guys are on the channel, you guys know I love my Palmettos, nothing wrong with them. I wouldn't trust that necessarily. A fun gun, sure, but like my duty type rifle, no. So going between these two here, and you can see already one common variation, right? And this is something I did for modification, that I do for all my bolt carriers, is the Lantac domed cam pin. Reason why I put it on there is a couple things. One, reduces the wear in the internal of your receiver, provides a bit more of a smoother, just generalized function, when racking the bolt. And it just looks cool. But nice little upgrade. Lantac definitely has put their research into it, and boy, it's funny, after having this for a number of years, you definitely feel where it has worn in quite nicely, right? Where this one's still kind of fresh and is nice, but still needs a bit of wearing into. Now, outside of that similarity, you can see, just looking back here, there is I want to call it scalloping, to where it is removing material back here versus where this is just solid. So this saves on a bit more on weight. You can see just kind of going 1-to-1. they are very similar because they have to be mil-spec, right? So they have to meet military specification of the design. The beauty of interchangeability in parts, right? But that's not to say they don't have their little enhancements. So again, going back here, you see it has scalp. The Lantac will allow a bit more debris before stoppage, like grit, grime, sand, what have you, where the standard might get hung up. Like that little bit of grain of sand might actually go on the inside and cause some stoppages, some slowages, where this one can kind of break through. Looking down, going straight down through. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump the camera. You can see the staking is definitely adequate on both of them. Some would say that the staking on the Lantac is a bit more pronounced, a bit more solid, but they're both using quality screws here. Again, coming from Ruger, again, Toolcraft, I would expect it to be, to be of good quality. But you can see maybe just subjective, a little bit better staking. Geometry and profile is still the same, fine here. You can see going to the bolt face. Everything pretty much looks almost the same, right? Now, there may be some minuscule differences in the geometry. Looking at the locking lugs here, there may be just ever so slightly differing geometry, but it's definitely, again, we're splitting hairs here. Looking at the side here, you can see the directional enhanced gas ports to aid in deflection of gas away from the shooter and enhance reliability. You can see an additional vent down there to where this one has down here, again, to direct gas away from the shooter, and has that little enhancement. It has a little cutout on the Lantac versus over here for grime, grit, and grud. Looking on the underside here, again, you can see has that little shelved lip to just enhance in reliability. A little bit deeper cuts, a little bit nicer cuts, a little bit better machine work. But overall, for enhanced gas ports and just for a little bit different geometry, I wouldn't say it is worth it. One thing I really got this for was because of the gold, I'll be honest. And then two, because I knew it was going to, I could run this for any gun ever, and if anything breaks, I know I can fall back on this one. Hopefully, who knows, the Ruger might still be running, right? But that's the main difference between a Gucci bolt carrier and a standard mil-spec. Go with the standard mil-spec from reputable for your everyday builds. Get one really nice, like Lantac or Bravo Company or what have you, right? Like an upgraded Gucci edge bolt carrier, just to have one. It's nice to have. One thing I will say, and this probably I probably should put this in the beginning of the video, but if you stuck around this long, here's a special treat, right? And this is from all my research, from the unanimous decision, just by strangers on the internet, is that don't just fall for the shiny, pretty finish. Make sure they can do a shiny, pretty finish nice. Because again, whenever they put like nickel coating on there, what have you, the parts aren't designed. They're mil-spec, but then when you add the nickel coating, it adds 1/1000th of an inch, which then could cause some reliability issues. And look for certain things like chrome plating, right, or like nitriding, because to get a nice chrome plating done or to get a nice nitride finish, it takes time, takes material, machine efforts, and someone knowing what they're doing. And generally speaking, if you go with one of those finishes, pretty safe bet. Now, nothing wrong with a phosphate coating as well. That, again, that's mil-spec, but if you want a kind of indication of someone's quality, look and see if they do that as well. Where if they only do titanium nitriding, but they don't do those other ones, their titanium nitriding is a bit more forgiving. So it's just those like little telltale tricks and signs, and also just sticking with some name brands you guys know. So with that long-winded thing being said, let me know what you guys think. If you guys have this Lantac enhanced bolt carrier, if you guys like the mil-spec, if you hate the cam pit or what have you, right? I love to hear your guys' opinion. But if you stuck around this long, again, appreciate you guys watching the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. Please consider liking, commenting, and or subscribing. And with that, I'll catch you guys next time. See you guys.